Hi everyone, this is Tina from Miles HR Consulting. Today we're going to be talking about temporary layoff. So in Ontario, under the Employment Standards Act, companies can temporarily lay off staff for a certain period of time if they're going to be suspending operations, or if they find that there are certain staff members or departments of staff members that they're not going to be requiring to work for a certain period of time. There are really two sections here. There's temporary laying off staff for 13 out of 20 weeks or up to 35 out of 52 weeks. For that latter period of time, the 35 out of 52 weeks, there's certain criteria that a company must meet in order to do that. So I urge you to check the Employment Standards Act Ontario regulations for more details around that. One of the other things around a temporary layoff is that you need to ensure that as an employer, your employees are aware that this may occur. So usually an employer will insert a clause into the employment offer, an employee handbook, or one of their policies that states that the employer reserves the right to temporarily lay off staff according to their business requirements. One of the things you should do when you temporarily lay off staff is issue them some sort of notification of that. Don't just call them. And if you've already laid them off, but you haven't done a notice, you can still do that, because really it's a factual document that will document things that you've already told them probably. So first of all, what is their last day of work? Is there company equipment like the store's keys or a computer that they use for work that you want returned? Are you going to be paying out their vacation pay? That they need to hold themselves ready. So for instance, if they move or change their contact information, they're going to need to let you know. And also, if they've signed any privacy or confidentiality agreements, they need to remember that that's part of what they need to follow while they're on layoff. One of the other things is whether or not they have benefits. So for instance, if your employees pay a certain share of the benefit premium every month, you can handle this a couple of ways. Number one, that you're going to ask them for post-dated checks while they're off. Number two, that you'll pay the full premium for the time being, and when they return, you can work out a payment plan. Or maybe even number three, you've decided that you're going to pay the full benefit premium as a goodwill gesture. That's something, though, you should check your contract with your insurer to see if that's possible. One of the things that people aren't aware of is that people can actually be recalled to work during a layoff period. If the employee is making less than half of what they ordinarily make, then that week will still count as a week of layoff. So one last thing, I want to be sure that you realize you must track how many weeks they are off, because once you've reached that 13 out of 20 weeks or 35 out of 52 weeks, that's a decision point about whether they're going to be recalled or are you going to be terminating them. One of the other things is some governments in Canada are deciding to extend the temporary layoff period of time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ontario hasn't done that as of today's date, but that's something you should keep an eye out for. I hope you were able to get some useful tips out of our talk today. Take care and stay well, everyone.